Welcome back to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, as always, Jeremy, here to layeth the smackdown on some candy asses with what I created. No, I did not make these rankings, but I did create this bracket of the top 68 wrestling theme songs of all time, if I have my number correct. 68 wrestling theme songs. And no, I don't agree with this list completely, but what are we going to do? And some of you have heard this bracket before. And this time, though, it's getting taken on by. Oh wait, he was just on my other show the other night, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. Thank you, imaginary friend next to me. But yes, it's Michael Colby back once again from Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex. This time to take on a music bracket, and he chose the wrestling theme song bracket, which
Hmm.
I'm based on our conversation the other night. I'm dying to hear how this goes. I really am. So let's
I
have some fun with
it,
this.
it's gonna be interesting because some of these songs I like for wrestlers that I can't stand, and sometimes the wrestler like colors how much I like the song. But but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we shall see how it goes, and it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. But let's start off with the first matchup. And like I said, I did not make these rankings, so this matchup is something I never would imagine in my wildest dreams. But it's number 50, The Undertaker's American Badass by Kid Rock, versus number 64, The Godfather's The Ho Train by Jim Johnston.
Well, let me start this out by saying that The Undertaker is probably my favorite wrestler of all time. Um, I was not a huge fan of his American Badass gimmick. And I can't stand Kid Rock's music. I can't stand him as a person. I hate everything about Kid Rock. He looks like he smells like old cigarettes and piss. Um, I hate everything about Kid Rock, and I hate everything about this song. So the Ho Train is gonna go forward here because that's actually a fun song and the Undertaker's worst song by far.
So, Ho Train moves on because you are like me and you think that's the Undertaker's worst gimmick ever.
Yeah, for like by a long shot.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean, we'll get to some of his other gimmicks a little bit later on in this bracket, that's for damn sure. But
Yeah.
that means that one of my favorite gimmick wrestlers of the late 90s, early 2000s moves on. The Godfather moves on down the ramp with his Ho Train. I love saying that. I always have. The things they teach kids in the 90s. But
Mhm.
raise your hand if you got in trouble for calling a group of girls in your neighborhood the Ho Train all the time. Oh, wait, that's me.
Yeah, I did. I tried not to do that. I was also a big nerd, so I wouldn't have like approached a group of girls to say that anyway, or to say
See,
anything really.
I was a big nerd, but I said the wrong things. It was a difference. I didn't keep quiet. I just opened my mouth and said stupid shit. But that's the way it goes.
I just kept
But
to
to see who's
myself.
facing I did that sometimes. It was the lonely years. But moving on to face the Godfather will be either number 49, Brian Danielson's Final Countdown by Europe, or number 63, Undertaker's The Dead Man by Jim Johnston.
I mean, Undertaker Dead Man, that's an easy one. Final Countdown's a great song, but you can't. It's gonna take something special to beat the Undertaker's Dead Man theme song, and this ain't it.
No, it's oh, no, it's not. Not at all. But I mean, I don't know. I've seen this go different ways in this one, so I can't. Everybody has opinions. That's the best way to put it. Everybody has opinions, and whether I think they're right or not doesn't freaking matter. In this case, I think you're right. But And if you want to stick to actually the fact that it's wrestling theme songs, and that really isn't a wrestling theme song per se, it's a
Yeah,
classic song from the '80s.
yeah.
I mean,
Very very
it's the most pointless
strange
song of all
choice.
time, but I
It's a
mean,
yeah,
yeah, like I said, it's the most point.
it's a weird thing for a wrestler to come down to as well.
Well, there's a lot of those in this book, so we'll get to all of them in a minute. But yeah, it's a lot of strange ones in this one. I can't say I pick any of these if I was a wrestler, but that means Undertaker will face Godfather again in the second round. But also means the next matchup is number 48, Mike Awesome's Awesome Bomb by Jimmy Hart and Howard Helm versus number 62, Sheamus's Written in My Face by Jim Johnston and Sean Jenness.
I hate Sheamus. I think he is bad. I think he has a bad gimmick. I can't stand his stupid face or his stupid mustache. So nothing about Sheamus is gonna move on. So I'm gonna pick Awesome Bomb here.
Oh, I always loved Sheamus as a wrestler. He was like, I don't know, he wasn't my favorite by far, but always he always had good gimmicks at least, I thought. But and his theme song
I,
though is
I don't.
I love his theme song. I don't know why. I just love his theme song.
Yeah, I don't like anything about Sheamus. I think he's boring. Um, and I don't know. Vince loves these big slab of meat guys who just like punch and kick each other, and it's like my least favorite kind of wrestling ever.
I mean, the bro kick though, which is always one of my favorite finishers too. Like just a big boot to the face. Like it's just
Hmm.
classic. I mean, I don't
Shawn
know.
Michaels does
That's
it
me.
better.
Oh, well, yeah. It's fucking HBK, which we'll get to him in a long bit when we get down to the higher ranked songs. But that means that the Mike Awesome is going to face either number 47, Chris Benoit's Whatever by Our Lady Peace, or number 61, Randy Orton's Burning My Light by Mercy Drive.
Hmm. I don't love picking Chris Benoit for anything. Um, but I mean, in the ring, you you don't get too much better than Benoit was. I hate that. I hate what happened. But as far as being a wrestler, he was one of my favorite wrestlers when I was a teenager. And I think he had a great song that worked well with what he did. So I'm gonna pick Benoit here.
I mean, he was an amazing wrestler, and it surprised all of us at that point when that happened. And he was an amazing wrestler though, and it literally shows the impact wrestling can have on their bodies. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's a moral lesson for anybody who wants to be a wrestler. This is what it can do to you if you're that good that you put yourself out there to the fullest. But
yeah.
that that means Mike Awesome will face Chris Benoit in a WCW rematch in the second round. But the next matchup is number 46, Jake the Snake Roberts Snake Bit by Jim Johnston versus another Jim Johnston song, number 60, a fan favorite, Christian's Blood Brother.
Um, I don't have a ton to say about either of these. I think they were both great songs for the wrestlers. I really like Jake the Snake when I was a kid. Um, I'm a big fan of heels. You might you might not be too surprised to hear. Um, but but yeah, I think Christian's theme song is a little bit cooler of a song, so we're gonna go with that one.
Uh, so you said Christian? Yeah. I mean,
Christian, yeah.
don't I? I'll get to later why this is ironic later, but Blood
I
Brother, it seems to be a fan favorite of people doing one-on-ones, and then the original group one, it seemed to be a fan favorite. I don't know. I never thought it would be, but apparently it is. I can't explain it, but like you said, Jake the Snake was a good gimmick, kind of, not
yeah.
really, but
Yeah.
the
I
theme song
mean,
was nothing special.
it was the 80s, and like it was kind of Macho Man, um Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior that had like crazy gimmicks, and everybody else was just like, I work for the IRS. I am a trash man. So the snake gimmick sort of went with everything else. Oh, I'm a clown. I guess you could put Doink in there.
And Insane Clown Posse, but
That was
that
later.
means that oh, I know, but well, actually, yeah, I mean, they technically were wrestling at that time, but they just weren't doing it in WWF. But that means that Christian's Blood Brother is going to be facing either number 45, Rob Van Dam's Walk by Pantera, or number 59, The Fabulous Freebirds, Bad Street USA by Crossfire.
Mm. I love the song Walk by Pantera. I never thought it worked for Rob Van Dam, but I'm definitely picking it here, even though uh, it always, because we used to go down to the ECW arena and watch Rob Van Dam wrestle, and I always was like, I don't understand why he's coming out to Walk by Pantera. It didn't mesh with him, but it is a better song. So we're gonna pick that.
I mean, there's another Rob Van Dam theme song on this as well, and let's just say that's the better one for now. I'll get to that later, but I never knew Rob Van Dam when he came out to that theme song, and I am not a fan of Walk by Pantera. The only
Oh,
Pantera song I
okay.
really like is the only Pantera song I really like is Cemetery Gates, but
It's a good song.
it is a really good fucking song, especially that high note at the end. Like Jesus Christ. Like, but the next matchup before we get into the first play-ins is one of my favorite names for a theme song. It's number 44, Jack Swagger's "Get on Your Knees" by Age Against the Machine versus, and that's Age Against the Machine, not Rage Against the Machine, versus number 58's Midnight Express's "The Chase" by Marauder.
I, I don't really have a dog in the fight on this one. Um, so I don't really remember either of these wrestlers, or
You know,
I
Jack
think the other
Swagger,
one's a tag team.
Midnight Express was a tag team. I forget who was in it at
Yeah,
this point. It's been a long time. But
yeah.
Jack Swagger's a late 2000s, early 2010s wrestler.
Yeah.
I got back into wrestling when he was coming up, but
Okay, I just got back into wrestling not that long ago, so I kind of stopped after Attitude, um, and here and there I would pick stuff up, but I think you're right. I like the name of Get on Your Knees, so let's go with that one.
so Jack Swagger, get on your knees.
Yep.
Is that what we're going with? I think. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry. Someone had too much sugar tonight, apparently. But
Y-
yeah, I mean, the name of that song alone makes me want to pick it always. But
Yeah.
and just a warning, some
I
of these songs are not coming up. Some of these songs might not be on the Spotify playlist because I couldn't find them. I don't know if I
Okay.
sent those to you or not. I don't think I did. But I mean, you probably know
I think
most
you
of them. You
did,
probably know.
but
Okay.
I I'm pretty good with entrance music. Yeah, I listened to it, but I was
Well,
like, yeah, of course. And I already know a couple of them that are going to go very far. So a lot of them were like whatever.
Exactly. Well, your first playing matchup determine you have two playing matchups to determine the final match on this side of on this quarter of round one. And the first playing matchup is number 65, Coco Beware's Do the Bird by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire
Hmm.
versus number 69, ironically enough, X-Pac's Make Some Noise by Jim Johnson.
I mean, I liked Coco when I was a kid, but his theme song is sort of whatever. The 80s theme songs weren't all that exciting. And I don't love X-Pac. I have a problem, not a problem, like one of my least favorite like wrestler like uh what do you call that? Like uh, a gimmick for a wrestler. One of my least favorite things is the little guy who hurts himself to like win his matches, and X-Pac was definitely one of those, and I think he was one of the more effective ones, but still kind of an annoying gimmick. But I'm gonna pick his song anyway. But again, I don't think it's gonna go super far.
So, I mean, I don't know. I liked X-Pac because when I got into wrestling the first time, DX was like a huge becoming a huge thing. Like, and that's why my friends got me into it. Is like DX, but so it
Yeah.
was right when they were starting to form like the 5 people group. So, I mean, X-Pac was I always loved him, but he was always like the least favorite member of DX. So, I mean, how you gonna go
Yeah,
against the Heartbreak Kid?
yeah, he always struck me as like sleazy, and not in like the cool Scott Hall way, but in like the I don't want to be near this guy, sort of in the Kid Rock way.
Yeah, I mean, he was always like he kind of had like the more one night in China way.
Yeah, 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 not great. But people liked him, and he was in DX, so you got to give him a point there.
And yep, that means so Xbox moving into the first round. I mean, I gotta be honest though, "Do the Bird" is not a bad theme song at all. Like it kind of like is like a gospel church theme. It's like get on up, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I it's fun, but I don't know. The 80s pretty lame, kind of like pretty lame.
oh yeah, but well, that means it's
Which
gonna face one of these two songs in round one. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's fine. Which I mean, we're gonna get to some beloved theme songs from the 80s, and I'm going to absolutely tear through them. So
Well, here might be one of them because your second playing matchup in this quarter, to see who's gonna face X Pac in round one, is number 66, Ted DiBiase's "It's All About the Money" by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire versus number 70, Jeff Jarrett's "The Chosen One" by I have no fucking clue who.
um yeah, we're gonna go with Jeff Jarrett here. I started off hating Jeff Jarrett, but I grew into him, like, as he figured out that they should stop trying to make him a baby face, and once they really, like, healed him up, I think he ended up being very good, and that song goes with him, very well, and, yeah, I'm a Jeff Jarrett fan.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Color me shocked. I mean, how do you not like money, 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 money? Like it's just
Uh, yeah, no, it was good. I I don't know. I just I'm just a Jeff Jarrett head, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. I don't freaking know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Jeff Jarrett to me, I mean, when I first met Jeff Jarrett, he was getting a guitar slashed over his head by China. So
Yeah,
What can I say?
I wrestled for a short time. Um, I went
Really?
through yeah, I went through the school and, I was in shows for a while, but I was in a bad car accident when I was 17, and the doctor said that if I kept wrestling, I wouldn't be able to walk when I was 30, and that was when I was, like, 23 or 24. Um, so I didn't pursue it, um, but, uh but yeah, I have I have an appreciation for, like, a real good heel, and I think Jarrett turned out to be a very, very good heel. I really like watching him do his thing. Like, he has a lot of, like, little subtle tricks to make the crowd hate him, and, man, he's just really good at it.
Yeah, he is good at it. I mean, and I never watched TNA when he started that shit up. I never really watched it, but so that means your final first round matchup in this quarter is number 69 X Pac makes a noise versus number 70 Jeff Jarrett, the chosen one.
I'm gonna go Jeff Jarrett here.
Ooh,
Sorry, X-Pac,
I think it's the
you're
I think that's the first time Jeff Jarrett ever made out of the freaking plane, let alone round one. So
well,
kudos.
like I said, I'm a Jarrett head. It's probably not gonna make it too much further, but I do like Jarrett, and I think that theme song fits him very well.
Well, as Chancey said, Jarrett is a solid old school heel. So,
Yep.
but that means you get to go to the other quarter on this top half of round one, and the first one is a tough one. So it's number 57, Mankind's Wreck by Jim Johnston versus number 43, Hulk Hogan's Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh. Okay. This is the good Hulk Hogan one. Um,
I think you're the first person to ever say that, but okay.
this is when I said that I'm going to tear through some beloved 80s theme songs, when we get to uh I Am a Real American, that song can fuck right off. Uh so now I can't hear Voodoo Child without thinking about Hogan coming down to the ring with his NWO shirt on and his white and black boa, like doing the guitar thing on the belt. And it was like the only time in my life that I was like a Hogan fan. Um, so yeah. And I love Mick Foley. I think Mick Foley, everything he does is freaking gold. Um yeah. I don't mean he's a good like person or a good wrestler, and
Yeah,
I'm
folks.
definitely
Can't, just to keep the listeners in the future actual audio episode on up to date, Chancey said the good Hulk Hogan, in quotations, anything is kind of like an oxymoron. LOL.
yeah, he's terrible. He's a bad wrestler. I never understood his popularity. Um he has the world's worst finisher. Um,
Yeah, like drop. Like, what the fuck's that?
yeah, leg drop. But I mean, Voodoo Child's a great song. And it was definitely my favorite of the Hogans. Um, but yeah, anything with Mick Foley is gonna go uh against anything Hulk Hogan.
Oh, so mankind gets the day.
Mankind gets it today.
And that's not something that we could say every day in this earth. So Mrs. Foley's baby boy moves on, as Chancey said. So, and I mean, Mankind's going to be facing, and this is kind of a wrestler versus stable matchup here, but it's number 56, Ahmed Johnson's Pearl River Rip by Jim Johnston versus number 42, Nation of Domination's Power by Jim Johnston.
Oh man.
because we are the nation
This
of
yeah,
domination.
this is an unfair matchup. I really liked Ahmed Johnson back in the day, even though he was terrible. He wasn't good, but he was very strong. Also, could barely speak. Um, but man, the Nation of Domination was great. I mean, every incarnation of it, whether it was with The Rock or if like, well, I mean,
There wasn't that many
usually it had this.
incarnations of it. It died
No,
off pretty
no, there
fast after
wasn't.
The Rock got famous.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking about like how Farouk was leading it, um, and then The Rock sort of took it over, and I guess that
Yep.
was really it. But yeah,
Yep. It
great
was
theme
basic.
song.
It was, and if you watch the show Young Rock on CBS, it's actually hilarious because they went through that whole thing where like the Rock starts freaking like speaking out instead of Farouk, and it was hilarious. It was just,
Yeah,
and
man.
like when the Rock finds out they want to put him in a group of all black people, like it's literally like he turns to his father, and his father's like, "Let me guess, Vince wants you to be put in a group of all black people." Like it's just, it's funny with everything going on with Vince McMahon nowadays, but. Who's it going to be, Ahmed or the
Yeah.
Nation of Domination?
Oh, it's the Nation. It's the Nation of Domination.
If it wasn't for them, The Rock wouldn't have became the person I hated for years, and then learned to love when he was calling John Cena a fruity pebble bitch. But I watched The Rock grow to fame when I first started watching wrestling, and then I hated him at that point. And then when I came back and watching it, he came back for the John Cena WrestleMania thing, and I loved their rivalry was just classic. Like the rivalry was just hilarious. Like everything he made fun of John Cena for, I was like, "Thank you, finally, someone says it on TV."
Yeah, I think back in the day when there was like a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austin feuds, I think there's one Stone Cold Steve Austin feud that was better than The Rock, but man, The Rock and Stone Cold were so good together.
uh,
The Rock, kind of anybody that The Rock like sort of faced off against, he's just so charismatic that uh
yeah.
that
The
I think
most charismatic man in sports entertainment.
he's not wrong. He is not wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I hated The Rock for the longest time just because I guess I was supposed to technically, but I mean, I just hated him for a
Mhm.
long time because I was a Triple H Stone Cold fan and I hated The Rock. And I mean, I even hated The Undertaker when he came back with that American Badass shit, but
Yeah, it
like I
was
just hated
yeah,
that.
the American Badass was really bad.
Part of the reason I stopped watching wrestling the first time. But that means that the next matchup, because
Hey,
Nation of Domination will
hang
face
on.
Mankind
There's
round two.
something very strange is going on in my
Sorry about that break, folks. Everything okay on your end?
sorry, my cat was going crazy. He's like scratching the shit out of my chair. Anyway, go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, the next matchup is number 55, Demolition by Jimmy Hart, JJ McGuire, and Rick Derringer versus, funny enough, number 41, Legion of Doom / Road Warriors, What a Rush by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire. So it's a tag team
Hmm.
matchup with Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire doing both of them.
Uh, I mean, these are both good songs, both from good tag teams. I'm a big fan of tag teams. I love a good tag team. That's part of the
Well,
reason why I
what?
can't stand watching WWE right now, because Vince hates tag teams and he has a bunch of good ones and he won't use them. And then he puts two random losers together to make the tag teams like for the championships, and it drives me crazy. But I think the Legion of Doom has got to go here.
Well,
Legion of Doom has got to go.
all I can say to that is, oh, what a rush! That hurts to do anymore. Fuck.
Yeah.
I used to do that all day and not fucking feel a thing. What the hell? Oh, getting old sucks.
It sure does.
But that's a clip for you right there. But that means that Legion of Doom is going to be facing in the next round either number 54, Owen Hart's King of Hearts / High Energy by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire, or number 40, AJ Styles, I Am.
This one's easy. It's Owen. But I
Well,
have nothing more to say about it. AJ
I don't.
Styles. AJ Styles as a wrestler and a theme song is about as forgettable as they come. Owen
Well,
Hart,
that means it's going to
absolute
be.
legend.
Yeah, and unlike WWE, we're not going to leave them hanging, folks. But you might say too soon, but it's been 30 years. Get over it.
It's been a long time.
That means it's going to be a 90s matchup in the next round, as Legion of Doom will face Owen Hart, which I'm pretty sure happened at one point or another. But that means the next matchup, though, in this round is number 53, Diamond Dallas Page, DDP's Self High Five by Dimasic, versus number 39, another fan favorite in these, Kane's Slow Chemical by Finger 11. And there is a Stranger Things joke there, but we did that in the group one. I'm not going to do it again.
And I wouldn't have got it anyway because I only watched the first season of Stranger Things.
I mean, you literally just have to know the character's name is 11. But
okay.
There's a clip online of Freddy from Bracket Bastards not getting that joke for like 5 minutes. Like, it's hilarious. Like, I literally say it, then like I'm in the next matchup, and all of a sudden he starts laughing his ass off. He's like, I just got that. I'm like, okay. But
Finger 11. All right. I enjoy.
Well, someone has to.
But yeah, I mean, Kane's got to go here. Kane's got to go on to the next round. He doesn't have to leave. He has to go on to the next round.
I mean, I remember watching Diamond Dallas Page, like with the whole him versus Undertaker feud, where Undertaker's wife got involved and everything too. But like, I don't even remember his theme song because it wasn't that memorable.
No, DDP, not. I mean,
I liked him as a wrestler. But
he
the
was
Diamond Cutter is a good move.
wrestler. The Diamond Cutter's fine, but yeah, I don't know. He just always came off as a little bit too into himself for somebody who was like a slightly above average wrestler. I'm not a huge DDP fan.
I mean, I agree. I'm a huge DP fan, but I'm not a huge DDP fan. So, but that means that Kane will face one of the following. Well, this is in this next matchup, and it's a true 90s matchup because it's number 52, D'Lo Brown's The Real Deal by Jim Johnston, versus number 38, and this is one of the ones that was on the playlist, but Taz's Survive. And it is not the Taz song you're most likely thinking of.
Okay. It doesn't matter. D'Lo's gonna go on anyway here. I thought he was underrated. I always liked watching him wrestle.
Whether it
was with the Nation or if it was just by himself, like I always thought that he was innovative and like very fun to watch. He kept moving which is a lot more than you can say about a lot of these big slabs of meat that Vince loves in the 90s and now. I'll watch 100
Well,
D'Lo Brown matches over one. Like, I'll watch a D'Lo Brown's all day long over like a Gunther, who people seem to like, but I think is unwatchable.
I mean, D'Lo Brown would have been a huge thing if he didn't injure draws. He would have been a huge thing if he didn't injure draws, because
Yeah, I think
he
that's
paralyzed draws basically. And
yeah,
it's like WWF like punished him for that.
yeah,
So he would have been huge because he was such a good wrestler. He could have been Booker. He could have went as big as Booker T did if he actually was around during that time. But
yeah. And what he did to draws wasn't anything crazier than like
no, it was
you
a
know,
basic move, and he just did
yeah,
like an inch off the way it should have been done.
yeah, and it wasn't like it's not like that stuff doesn't happen. Like Austin did that to Owen, and he went on to be just the biggest star of all time in wrestling. So
Well, because
Vince
Vince McMahon's no
again,
idiot.
yeah.
To some
Well,
degree, at
he
least, but
no,
back
he's
then,
definitely an idiot. I think he I think he punished D'Lo for more than just like that. I
mm,
think he was just looking for an excuse.
probably. Well, the next matchup, and it's going to be our second to final matchup in this round of this half this round, is number 51, Undertaker's Dark Side by Jim Johnston versus number 37, Hardcore or Crash Holly's Slow Death.
Oh, it's Undertaker. Crash Holly is
Well, it's Hardcore
useless.
and Crash Holly's theme song,
Hardcore
but
and
yeah.
Crash, useless.
No.
They're
I respect Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly worked his ass off at WWE.
yeah, but not fun to watch. I
I
didn't
always
think.
I liked it when it was like the Dudley Boys versus like the Crash family and like or the Holly family and Molly Holly was part of it. Damn cat. you know, crack kills, buddy. But folks, pussy can be very dangerous to have in your house. Please make sure your pussy is actually in control of what's gonna be in your house. Our guest will be right back as soon as he gets that pussy cat under control. And Chancey, I know you're shaking your head right now, but you love it. And he's coming back for the two playing matchups, folks. And these two playing matchups are interesting playing matchups to say the least. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. This is the worst cat I've ever had.
Well, I was telling the audience where you're going. You got to keep that pussy under control. Like, but that means you're up to your next two playing matchups to finish off the last matchup of this round, half this round. And the first playing matchup is number 67. It's an ECW matchup. It's number 67, Rob Van Dam RVD's One of a Kind by Breaking Point versus number 71, Taz's 13 by Jim Johnson.
Taz's 13 is way better. I loved Taz back in the ECW days.
Well, I mean, technically, I mean, I'm not sure if this was ECW too, but I know it was his WWF theme song when he first came in. But
okay,
because this is the moment, this is the moment of the beeping.
Okay. Either way, I don't like Rob Van Dam. I don't like any of his songs besides the fact that Walk I like just as a song. And I do like Taz. I always thought Taz was fun to watch.
I mean, I love Rob Van Dam because one of my best friends growing up was like he would do the RVD thing every time we wrestled on the trampoline. Like that was cool. But and I mean Taz is classic me though. Him coming out with the fucking black towel over his head and shit. Like it was just I don't know. I loved the invasion period of WWF and that's what I really got into. But I mean I liked Taz. He was always a awesome wrestler and he was always badass. But that means Taz is going to be facing one of these two in the last play-in matchup of this half, and it's number 68, Ken Shamrock's "The Ultimate" by Jim Johnston, versus number 71, the only female theme song, diva theme song in this whole thing, Lita's "It Just Feels Right" by Jim Johnston.
Well, I was almost gonna go Ken Shamrock because I loved Ken Shamrock back in the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s. But man, Lita was on a different level. Lita made the women's division in WWE not a joke.
Well, I would like to think China did that first, but
China was not a good wrestler though. She was just big and strong. Lita is a legitimately great wrestler. And I think if it wasn't for Lita, we probably wouldn't have like your Chris Statlanders and your like most of AEW's women's division who are amazing wrestlers. Like I think that's all being owed to Lita. So I think she's amazing. And yeah, China was badass, but she was like an Ahmed Johnson, just a big, strong person, not spectacularly skilled like Lita was.
well, all right. So Lita moves on.
Yeah, absolutely. She has a great song too.
Wow.
Like all of the Edge Christian songs were all like a lot of like
Well,
and really fit their like sort of whole deal.
I mean, Lita. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lita was mine as well for a lot of preteen boys' wet dreams in the early
Yeah,
2000s. Don't get me
for
wrong
sure.
there. But between her and Trish Stratus, we had our money made. I mean, if you want to go further back, even Sable, the first pay-per-view I ever saw, Sable with those handprints. Oof, oof,
See
oof.
that I was never a fan of Sable. Trish Stratus, like I'm a big fan of like a Lita look as far as oof goes.
Well,
The
who doesn't like a girl? Who doesn't like a girl wearing lowriders with a thong sticking out? Come on
it,
now.
fantastic. She's gorgeous. She is a great wrestler. The rest of the women's division at that point just sort of
They were there
was
for
a
bra and
bunch
panties matches and
of
managers. Yep.
yeah. It was all pretty much useless because like by that time I already had the internet in my house. I could look at hot ladies anytime I wanted.
He was watching One Night in China, folks. Don't let him fool you.
Oh, I definitely watched that too.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you had to because you were just wondering, does she have a penis?
I I might still have her issue of Playboy. It's somewhere in this house.
Kind of wish I did, but I'm pretty sure I can get those pictures online anywhere I want now. So,
Yeah, probably. Although surprisingly hard to get old Playboy pictures online because they take
well,
them down.
not that surprising, honestly. But
Yeah.
that means that your final matchup in this quarter round one is going to be, and somehow I fucked up the rankings on this, but it's number 71, Taz's 13 versus number 71, Lita's It Just Feels Right. Don't actually have the 271s. I don't fucking know.
Oh, is this is actually a matchup? I'm gonna go with
Yep, this
Lita
is your
here
first.
again too. Yeah. Sorry, Taz.
All right. Well, that means that you are now officially done with the first half of round one, and then yeah, this is gonna be a long one. I already knew it, but
Good lord.
that's okay. I break these into two different episodes for this reason than the audio form. But
Okay.
that means the other half of round one is going to get started off by number 14, Goldberg's Invasion / Who's Next by Christian Poulet versus number 29, Batista's I Walk Alone by Saliva. And while you discuss that, I'm going to go use the men's room real fast. So discuss.
Oh, unfortunately, there's not that much to discuss. I like Batista as a wrestler and as an actor and as a person, but I'm not a huge fan of his theme song. Um, I thought Goldberg was annoying to watch because the two moves, the constant squashes, but that song and his whole entrance was cool, and I liked his entrance. But yeah, so Goldberg's gonna win this one, but yeah,
And that
that's
means
it.
that Goldberg
I don't have a
wins.
lot to say about either of these two. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Goldberg always wins.
they're both muscleheads with no brain. So I mean, that's basically all
Yeah.
there is to it. How's my thing? Oh, there we go. Yeah, they're both muscleheads with no brains. That's just the way it goes. But I don't know if that's the first thing you can do. But that means Goldberg's gonna move on to face in this next matchup number 13, Triple H in China's My Time by Jim Johnston versus number 28, John Cena's My Time Is Now by John Cena and the trademark.
I don't like John Cena. There, I said it. I don't like him. I don't. I think I like him as an actor. I like him in Trainwreck. I think he was the best part of that terrible movie. I like him as what's his name from the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. Um, but I always thought he was an annoying wrestler. I thought his gimmick was annoying when he came in, and then he turned into some
The New Rock.
army guy,
They made
which was annoying. I
mm-hmm.
think I think his rapper gimmick was stupid. I think his "you can't see me" gimmick is stupid. I dislike John Cena the wrestler. Um, so what was the other one?
Triple H in China's My Time from
Oh
when Triple
yeah,
H and
that
China were a
one.
thing in between
Yeah,
DX runs.
yep, that one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Finally, that song gets some damn appreciation in this bracket. Like when I got into wrestling, that was Triple H's theme song way before the DX theme song,
Yeah,
way before all the other theme songs that he's involved in this bracket. Like that was his theme song, and I love that fucking song. I always thought it was
I
called Our Time, but
I think it's probably his best one. Like the game is good, but it didn't. I have a thing about the song going with the wrestler and the entrance, and
yep.
I just think that one was the best one for him.
Yeah, it was, I think. And I mean, especially at that point in his career where it was his time. Like he was coming up at that point. So and just like, I don't know, you hear that theme song and like you just knew who it was. And I mean, I don't know. They made all the theme songs too metal when that forcible entry CD came out with all the metal theme songs on it they started using. I mean, a lot of them are on this bracket too, but that means Goldberg will face Triple H slash China in the next round. But the next matchup is going to make you want to say, woo! I can't do it. But because it's number 12, Ric Flair's also Splach Zarathustas by Richard Strauss versus number 27, Mr. Perfect's Perfection by Jim Johnston.
Ooh,
We're talking about 80. It's the 80s matchup.
yeah, and that's a tough one too. It's tougher than you'd think because Mr. Perfect. I mean, it's gonna be Ric Flair here. Ric Flair's got a great song. And he's an absolute legend. But Mr.
Not
Perfect's
the best human
gimmick
being,
with
but
no, I mean, none of them are.
no, I mean,
You're
oh,
gonna
I mean
find
that's not true. I don't think The Rock has ever had a bad news press thing against him.
no, there's gonna be some, but then, you're gonna
Yeah, I mean,
have the rest.
or Triple H, or John Cena. I never heard anything bad about any
Yeah,
of them.
no, apparently, like I said, I think John Cena is a great actor. I like him in movies. I think he's great. I just don't like him as a wrestler. I think he's got bad gimmicks, and I don't know whose fault that is, but I don't like him as a wrestler. Um, but yeah, Ric Flair, obviously, whatever. But back in the day, maybe the best gimmick of the 80s.
Oh,
just
I mean,
just like
if Chancey was still in watching this right now in chat, he'd be going nuts because to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
yeah, he was great. Mr.
No,
Perfect,
no
I
one's
think
better at No one's better at fucking speeches. No one's better at
yeah,
speeches.
yeah. Mr. Perfect was so good. Um, he was a great wrestler. He had a great finisher. That perfect plex for being like back in the day when people's finishing moves were the leg drop and the elbow off the top rope. Like to have the
Yep.
perfect plex was like mind blowing. He was a great wrestler, and the theme song really fit him and his entrance. So it's closer than you would think, but it is
The
still
wheeling, stealing, girlfriend stealing. Ric Flair wins it. Yeah, I figured.
yeah.
But that means Ric Flair's going to face him round two. Either number 11, Edge's Metalingus by Alter Bridge, and this is a genre matchup basically, versus number 26, Harlem Heat's Rap Sheet by Rene DeWall and Didier Leglis. I can't pronounce those names for shit, so yeah.
No. That's all right. It's Harlem Heat here. I loved Harlem Heat. I think they
Really?
were I think they were one of the best tag teams. Fucking Booker T and the
Oh,
other guy
can
whose face I can see, but whose name I can't remember.
Booker T and oh my god, I know this. I know what it is, but I can't freaking think of it. Oh,
Steve, Steve,
Stevie Ray
Stevie.
or Stevie Vaughn.
Hang on, it's not Stevie Vaughn.
Oh yeah,
What
I'm
do
just
we
thinking about
got
Stevies at this
here?
point. Oh,
Stevie Ray. Yeah, it
last
was Stevie Ray.
I was
Okay,
right.
I knew it was Stevie, but I couldn't. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and even what was that in the Royal Rumble this year? Booker T came back and he just cleared the ring, and it was so nice to see Booker T. He's still in great shape. He looks fantastic, and he cleared that ring out. Got kicked out. He got thrown out pretty early, but it was just nice to see him run down to the ring. And man, back in those WCW days, one of the few things that could get me to change the channel from Raw to Nitro
Nitro.
was if Harlem
Yep.
Heat was wrestling.
See, I never watched one episode of WCW. I got into WWF at Royal Rumble 2000, and that's from there. Like about a year later, there was this invasion thing that happened, and I was like, "What the fuck is WCW and ECW?" But so I mean, yeah. But that means Harlem Heat will
Yeah,
move on to face
we
Ric
used to
Flair in
watch
the
the
next
first
round.
hour of Nitro. Yeah, we used to watch the first hour of Nitro and then switch over to Raw, but yeah, if we knew what was coming up, and like I said, if it was Harlem Heat, I was gonna switch over and watch that match.
Well, that means that Harlem Heat will face Ric Flair in the next round. But the next matchup is number 10, Chris Jericho's "Break the Walls Down" by Jim Johnston versus number 25, CM Punk's "This Fire Burns" by Killswitch Engage. This is
CM
a
Punk
tough
is
one for me. I
horrible.
love both these matchups.
Uh,
As a person,
CM
but this is about the theme songs, not the person.
Yeah. I my my view of the song is tainted by
The man,
associating it
yeah.
with CM Punk, who I always thought was bad and annoying and not nearly as good as he thinks he is. um and I got mad thinking about CM Punk. What was that first one again? I also haven't slept for like 2 days, so you're gonna have to
It's
bear with
Chris
me here.
Jericho's. It's Chris Jericho's
Oh
"Break the
yeah,
Wall Down" by Jim. Yeah,
Break the Walls Down was gonna win against just about anything. Um, but also fuck CM Punk. I can't stand that guy. And the fact that he keeps getting hired at places drives me crazy. Like, you know what he is. Stop hiring him.
I mean, and seriously, another teasing that he might come back at Survivor Series in this month. Like, what the fuck? Like, if WWE takes him back, it's the stupidest fucking thing they ever did. But
Yeah.
who's Chris Jericho going to face in the next round? It's going to be number 9, HB motherfucking K, Shawn Michaels, "Sexy Boy" by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire, or number 24, Brock Lesnar's "Next Big Thing" by Jim Johnston.
I'm going to be very dismissive here. Fuck Brock Lesnar and everything he's ever done. He's useless. This I would rather watch Goldberg. So
I mean, he basically is WWE's version of Goldberg because they couldn't get Goldberg for a long
yeah,
time. But
yep.
and I mean,
And he's
put it this way, my good friend Shannon Lindemann of Crime Rewind and Lucha Reapers podcast, is famous for saying on this show during the group bracket that Brock Lesnar makes her asshole itchy.
I don't know how that works, but I agree. Brock Lesnar has never done uh, a good match in his life. He's one of these guys who is not only not good, but he refuses to get better, and that drives me crazy. Like, there are guys who aren't necessarily don't necessarily start out good. Dom Mysterio is one of them. Like, when I
Oh,
first started
I
watching
hate that fucking bitch. I hate that bitch.
when I first started watching him, I was like, wow, this guy is a bad wrestler. And now I'm like, oh, he's noticeably better. Like, he's noticeably working on his skills. And again, he does the heel stuff that makes him such a good heel that I can't not like him. I love everything about Dom at this point.
Dominic Mysterio is a cuck to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes him
No,
a
it's
great
not.
heel. Like, everything that he does makes him a great heel. Hiding behind
Dude,
Rhea, like using his stable,
punching
everything
his
he
father.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
It makes him
I,
a great
I,
heel. He is great
I
at the
agree.
fact that you have such a visceral reaction to him means that he's doing it so much better than
I
almost
don't
anybody
even watch
else.
wrestling anymore. I don't even watch wrestling anymore. I only know who he is because I see reels of him of like fucking whatever their name is, Judgment Day or whatever, on or where the hell their name is on Facebook all the time.
Yeah,
And I
Judgment Day.
fucking hate this
Yeah.
dude. I hate this dude. Like,
Yeah.
I hate him. Like, he's a bitch ass motherfucker. And I agree with CM Punk. CM Punk should have punched him out when he was a fucking kid. Because I remember watching that
He's
episode.
great.
I remember watching that episode of whatever it was, Raw or SmackDown, where Rey Mysterio brought his kid to the ring and CM Punk almost beat the shit out of the kid. Like, I remember watching that, but like, and I agree with CM Punk. He should have beat the crap out of that kid. It would have saved us all a lot of trouble at this point.
See, he's great. He's a great heel. The fact that you hate him this much uh, is just proving my point about how great he is. And now I have completely lost the thread. It was Brock Lesnar.
It was Brock Lesnar versus HBK, which is an easy choice, I
Yeah,
know.
and
But
it's HBK. We got way off on a tangent there.
so it's going to be HBK.
Yes.
All right, HBK moves on, and that means HBK is going to be facing either number 8 NWO's Rock House by Five Alarm Music, or number 23 Evolution's Line in the Sand by Motorhead. It's a stables matchup.
I don't have a lot to say about Evolution's thing. NWO Classic. I loved the NWO again, a heel thing, and they were really good at it. And most of the people in that stable were good wrestlers, and the ones that weren't good wrestlers, they knew how to keep them. They knew how to keep them like teamed up with the good wrestlers that made them look good. So I think the NWO is going to win most matches. Maybe not as far as songs go, but as far as stables go.
So, so is it going to be NWO or Evolution?
NWO, yeah.
Which means NWO face one of these 4 groups, and because you have your next 2 play-in matchups of this quarter, round 1, and the first one is number 30, a match of the seas. It's CM Punk's Cult of Personality by Living Color versus Cactus Jack's Whole Lot of Groove.
Living Color, one of my favorite bands of all time. I think they're amazing as far as music goes. But again, fuck CM Punk and fuck CM Punk for using such a great song. But you can't beat Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack is going to move on very very far in this tournament here. So, Cult of Personality, great song. I don't love who uses it as a theme song, and that's going to keep it from moving on. Plus the fact that it has to face Cactus Jack, who's my favorite of Mick Foley's personalities.
I mean, Cactus Jack was not my favorite by far. I prefer Dude Love, but
Dude Love was my least favorite of his personalities.
Oh, you gotta love Dude Love, man. You gotta love Dude Love. That was the best gimmick he ever had. But that means Cactus Jack is going to be facing either number 31, The Sandman's Enter Sandman by Metallica, or number 35, Dudley Boys, We're Coming Down by Jim Johnston.
Man, of all of the ECW guys, Sandman was my least favorite. He's not a good wrestler at all. And it was even worse when you watched him live. Like, he did not care if he hurt somebody else. It was not fun to watch him wrestle. I'm also not a Metallica fan, but I am a huge fan of the Dudleys, and I think they had a great theme song. So yeah, the Dudleys are going to go on here, and this is going to be tougher than I wanted it to be, going up against Cactus Jack.
So that means the Dudley Boys moving on. Nice.
Yes.
Glad to see them get out of the play-ins for once. And that means your final matchup in this third quarter of round 1 is 34 Cactus Jack's Whole Lot of Groove versus number 35, the Dudley Boys Were Coming Down.
Yeah, well, Dudley's got out of the play-in round, but they're not getting any further than that because Cactus Jack is going here.
Cactus Jack moves on. I love it. Which means that you are officially done with this third quarter of round 1. I know this is a long one, and that's what she said. But
Well,
that
once this first round goes and I get all of my ramblings out.
yeah, I know. It goes faster after round one. It's always the way it
Yeah.
goes, whether it's single or group. But that means the fourth part of round one starts now with number 7, Bret Hart's Hitman by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire versus number 22, Eddie Guerrero's Lie, Cheat, Steal by Jim Johnston, which is completely a matchup of like the 2000s versus the 80s, but whatever. Or
Yeah.
90s, I guess, kind of.
And there's there aren't too many people that I would rather watch wrestle than Eddie Guerrero. Um, Bret Hart was great back in his day, but Eddie was just better in every way, and including theme song. So Eddie's going to win this one.
Well, he may not go far because Eddie's going to be facing either number 6, The Rock's Know Your Role by Jim Johnston, or number 21, Christian's At Last by Jim Johnston.
It's fine, Christian. You're great. I love watching Christian wrestle, and I think his theme songs always fit him well. But
I mean, not this one. This was the worst theme song he ever fucking had. This is the worst gimmick he ever had.
not until uh we probably get up against some shattering glass. I think the Rock's going to have an easy ride until that glass shatters.
Well, that means that The Rock will face Eddie Guerrero in the next round. But the next matchup you have is number 5, DX's Break It Down by Jim Johnston versus number 20, Edge's You Think You Know Me by Jim Johnston. And a total 90s match and a total 2000s matchup, kind of.
Yeah. And I love Edge. I think he's great. Hearing, you think you know me, and then the crowd would just go crazy.
Oh yeah,
You
I've
know
been at those
what?
shows.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I thought I was about to pick DX, but thinking about like how that made me feel when that music started, when Edge's music started, I think I'm going to go with Edge here.
Well, keep in mind before you make your official
Yeah.
decision, this is the earlier Edge theme song where it's just you think you know me, you think you know me, you think you know me. It's
Yeah.
not Metalingus. It's not Metalingus where it's like
No.
you think you know me, and it's like bam, 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 bam,
No.
bam. Like
See,
it's not that one.
I know, and I prefer this one.
Ah,
I
see, I
prefer
didn't like that. I like the metal version of that one better because it's like you think you know me. Dun, 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 dun. On this day, I see
eh,
clear. Like I fucking love that shit. Like I came back. I watched Edge and Christian's rise through popularity as tag team, and then I came back into wrestling when Edge was like world champion on SmackDown and like fighting Kane and
mhm,
everything. Like so, I fucking love Edge. I mean, I missed the whole Radar superstar of sex with Lita in a bed on the stage type of shit, but like, I
that
love
was
Edge as
awesome.
a
Yeah.
superstar. I'm sure it was. I mean, I've seen video of it. It wasn't that awesome. You couldn't see shit, and then Kane
It was
came down and
just
scared him out of the ring.
it was just what it just you had to have seen it when it was on to
Oh, trust me,
see like how freaking cool it was to do
I saw Mae Young give birth to a fucking hand.
that. Was amazing as well.
So I've seen a
um
lot of weird shit in wrestling, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm still going Edge here.
I mean,
I think
what?
Edge. I would have rather watched Edge than any of the DX guys when they were.
No, see,
Yeah.
no, there was.
Yeah.
These are both theme songs where it's about the opening and how crazy the crowd goes.
Mhm.
I think the crowd goes a little more crazy when they hear, "Are you ready?" Down, down. Like the crowd, I've been at both shows before, and the crowd goes crazy when you hear the DX theme song. Like the crowd literally loses their fucking minds, like freaking all these Swifties when Taylor Swift like decides to bend over. Like what the fuck?
Well, this is my bracket, and I'm going by
Oh,
how
it is.
I felt when the music
It
comes on.
is. It is. But I'm a muser, and I will throw a damn fit if I want to do it for something. But that means Edge gets to face either. And here we go. Here we go. I already know. But number 19, Hardy Boys Loaded by Zach Tempest versus number 4, and this is the reason I said here we go, Hulk Hogan's Real American by Rick Derringer.
Oh, gross. This is a bad matchup because, like I said, I am not a fan of Hogan. I wasn't when I was a kid.
Well,
I was an Ultimate
it
Warrior guy when I was a kid. I thought Hulk Hogan was lame back in the day. I think this theme song is lame and bad. I also don't like the Hardy Boys, but I'll take the Hardy
you're making
Boys
me
over a Hulk Hogan theme.
not, okay. I really don't give a fuck about Hogan, but now you're making me cry over the fuck. The Hardy Boys were the shit back in the day when I was a kid. We all wanted to be the Hardy Boys doing those fucking flips and shit off stuff. Like
Mm,
every kid in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s wanted to be the Hardy Boys.
I was going Edge and Christian over the Hardy Boys every single time. I'll take Edge and Christian. I'll take the
See, I
Dudleys. I'll take all of
uh,
these tag teams that were, because Jeff Hardy is like the one that made me realize that I think the little guys who sacrifice their bodies to win the matches is the lamest gimmick. And Jeff Hardy is like the epitome of that, and I
oh
can't
yeah.
stand him.
Well, okay, Shane McMahon is also the epitome of that, but yeah.
Shane McMahon
So I
was
mean,
more Shane McMahon was more convincing doing it.
mm, I grew up loving the Hardy Boys. I've seen so many of my friends permanently injure themselves, like trying to do swanton bombs off of ladders on trampolines.
Mhm.
So
When
I
I
mean,
was in
and
wrestling school, there was a 370-pound man who would do those swantons off the top ropes. Now that's a finishing move. Like for a 112-pound guy to do it, I never bought it as a finisher.
well, see, I never tried it because if I tried it and I was like 300 pounds, if I tried it, I probably would have killed myself in the process. But
Well,
yeah, I
Mark
mean,
Mess was
and,
very good at doing
well,
it.
does it help you at all if you think it's Real American as a Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson theme song?
No, because it's a terrible theme song. It's a terrible
Because that's
song
actually
no matter who's coming out to it.
that's actually how I got introduced to that theme song is Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe running out at Mr. McMahon's orders to that theme song.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad song.
Well, that means Hardy Boys will face Edge, ironically enough, in the next round. But
And
the
and I
next,
can tell you right now that Edge is going to spear those Hardys off the top of a ladder.
well, I'm sure, but the next matchup is interestingly enough a friends matchup because it's number 3, Triple H's The Game by Motorhead versus number 18, New Age Outlaws. Oh, you didn't know? By Jim Johnson. Your ass better call somebody.
That was a good theme song for
Oh, they
a
both are
good
amazing theme
tag team.
songs, but
Yeah. Uh but when Triple H would come out, time to play the game, and then he would like put the water in his
the
mouth
water
and he would
spit.
do this
Yep.
thing and he'd do below the thing, and he'd walk down to the ring and do his whole thing. Fucking amazing.
I mean, the one SummerSlam where Motorhead actually performed it, and he like was on the throne and everything with the fucking like crown, like it was just oh my god,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. That was
And
that was an
the
amazing.
sledgehammer.
Yep. Yep. That was the Sledgehammer era. Yeah, very good. Very good time in Triple H's life and
It's
career.
when he became his top tier level that makes him what he still is today.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
But
So, yeah, the
it's
game.
also New Age
But
Outlaws.
New Age
So yeah, I
Outlaws
mean,
were great, so much fun to watch. I love Billy Gunn. I love the Road Dogg.
I I
Very
literally
fun
would,
tag
but
team.
okay, because the fact that this won't actually this will release sooner than that, but I was actually just on Music Junkies podcast, guesting a couple weeks ago, and one of the songs on my playlist actually played was Mr. Ass's theme song, which is not in this bracket. I'm an ass man,
Yeah.
and I told the hilarious story on that Music Junkies podcast about how I used to get WWE The Music Volume 4 taken away as a kid because I'd be walking around singing that song. My parents were like, "You are a fat white boy. You should not be singing I'm an ass man."
Very good. That was a good story. That was a good tag team. That was a good theme song, but they're not going to be able to
I
beat the
know, I
game.
know, I know. It's all good. And it's hard to beat the game. It's hard to play the game. But that means Triple H is going to be facing either number 2, Undertaker's Rest in Peace by Jim Johnston, or number 17, Mr. McMahon's No Chance in Hell by Jim Johnston and Peter Berserker.
This one's closer than I would think because that
Oh, I mean, it's not for me, but yeah, you think what you want.
that era of Vince was great. No Chance in Hell was like actually a fantastic theme song that went exactly where it needed to go. You know, when that would hit, that was when they had that thing where, you know, the first half a second of the theme song, you knew exactly what was about to happen. And it made that era of wrestling like so much better than whatever the fuck is going on in there now. Like, um, but yeah, I mean that rest in peace is too good, too good, too good. Sorry, Mr. McMahon. If you weren't like the worst human being that's ever walked the face of the planet, I would give it a little bit more. But as it stands, no, I hate I hate Vince McMahon too much. I even went Mr. McMahon because of that era, because of that theme song. It is a great theme song, but uh, the Undertaker, the Undertaker's going on here.
I don't blame you because, see, this is the Undertaker theme. There's a reason it's number 2, and that's because it's the Undertaker theme song that's freaking incredible. Like, that's the one. That's what you mean by that first couple seconds. Everybody knows what's going on
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because you hear that bell and it's just like, oh shit, what's going on now? Like, oh, like when he was gone for a while and like you knew Undertaker's coming back at some
Mm-hmm.
point, and you heard the bell at the end of a match, and like all of a sudden the ring goes dark and this freaking, and next thing you know, the freaking person in the ring's on the ground. It's just like, oh, that'll get your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It rules.
Yeah, Undertaker is one of the reasons I watched wrestling for as long as I did. I
Yeah.
stopped
Me too.
watching mainly because he turned into the American Badass, and then when I heard he came back as his old school gimmick, I started watching again like in 2007, 8. But all right, well that means Triple H will face Undertaker in a very 90s matchup in the next round. But the next matchup is the number one ranked theme song. If you can't guess what it is, you're out of your mind in this whole
I
bracket.
can guess what it is.
It's Stone Cold's "I Won't Do What You Tell Me" by Jim
I
Johnston
oh,
versus number 16, Macho Man's "Pomp and Circumstance" by Jimmy Hart and Howard Helm.
Macho Man, rest in peace, Macho Man. I loved you in the 80s. I don't know that Stone Cold, this theme song is number one for a reason. In the
Mm-hmm.
90s, if you weren't around like to see how like exactly how big Stone Cold was back in the day, you have no idea, but it was insane what like it was insane what like the eruption of the crowd. And I wasn't even a Stone Cold fan. Like it wasn't until Stone Cold's feud with Kurt Angle that I was like, oh, there's something to this guy. But most of the time, fighting The Rock, fighting Vince, and doing all that stuff, I was like, whatever. But at the same time, when that glass shattered again, you knew exactly what was coming. And even though I didn't like him back in the day, that glass shattered, and I was like, oh, something's about to happen, because he was
Mm.
the thing that made everything happen in that era of wrestling. Like, if Stone Cold was coming out, you knew something was about to happen. And he'd come up
Oh
and
God, yes.
he would do that he would jaw at whoever he was doing, and then he would kick him in the gut, and then he would stunner him, and then he would stunner like the 8 other people in the ring, and nobody could do anything about it. It was fucking fantastic.
Mhm.
And like I said, I wasn't like, I was like, oh God, it's Stone Cold again. You know what's going to happen. But the further I get away from it, the more I'm like, every once in a while, I'll think of that glass shattering and then dun, 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 and I'm like, yes. So
I
yeah,
I
Stone
mean,
Cold. Sorry,
it's
sorry,
Stone.
Macho
I mean,
Man.
Stone Cold. Oh, I mean, I don't give a shit. Stone Cold's a goddamn legend. I mean,
Yeah.
I was. I mean, I was kind of a big fan of him because, like, when I got into wrestling, he was gone. Like, it was after he got hit by the car, and
Mhm.
like, I remember when he came back with Rikishi being like, "I did it for the Rock. I did it for the people." Like, it's like, oh please. But that means you
Yeah,
have your final two play-in matches. Oh, go ahead.
trying to turn Rikishi heel was a bad idea. It was dumb.
Oh no, Rikishi dancing with Too Cool was the better gimmick by far.
Absolutely.
But you have two play-in matchups now to decide the final matchup in round one. And I mean final matchup in round one. But it's number 32, Vader's Mastodon by Jim Johnson versus number 31, Gangrel and the Brood's Blood by Jim Johnson.
I always thought Gangrel was lame, so I'm gonna go with Vader here. Edge
And
and
for the first
Christian,
time,
once
oh,
once they got away from Gangrel, that was when I started liking them. But yeah, Gangrel, what a wiener that Gangrel was.
okay. For the first time in the history of this bracket, Vader makes it out of the play-in. Because I mean, I love both of these theme songs by far, but Vader never makes it out of the play-in because Gangrel's is such a memorable theme song. And I mean, okay, I wasn't even around for it, but I love the Ministry of I love watching about the Ministry of Darkness when I like on VHS back in the day. Like that was my favorite era of wrestling I ever saw. Was the Ministry of Darkness and like the corporate Ministry of Darkness like
Mm-hmm.
fucking era.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my favorite era because Undertaker was so badass during that whole time,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Gangrel and the Brood were part of that. So
Yes, they technically were, but Gangrel was the worst part of it.
I liked it. I mean, who doesn't like vampires?
I love vampires. Gangrel,
I mean, I don't know.
I didn't buy it.
The
It
three.
just like I don't buy
Well, you're
Tom Cruise as an action star, and I didn't buy Gangrel as a vampire.
well. I mean, you're also I think a few years older than me, so maybe it was the age difference when that
Surely.
happened.
Yeah, probably.
Because I almost could believe that age I was at like 8 or 9. That like actually, well, okay, 2000. I would have been 12. So at 12 years old, I could believe a vampire was a real thing in wrestling. Don't ask me why, I just
Okay.
could. And seeing the three of them come up from beneath the stage, like with the chalice of blood, like it was just incredible times for a kid. So,
Yep. If I
and
was a
that
kid,
theme
I probably
song,
would
like
have liked it a lot better.
that theme song was so evil. But That means Vader is either going to face in the final match of round one either number 33, Drew McIntyre's Broken Dreams by Jim Johnston and Shaman's Harvest, sorry, versus number 15, Ultimate Warrior's Unstable by Jim Johnston.
Just like Sheamus, I'm gonna completely dismiss Drew McIntyre's whole thing. It's all bad. And like I said, back in the 80s, it was like Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, and I was a Warrior guy all the way. So Ultimate Warrior is going to go through here.
See, it's funny because the last person I had doing this bracket actually knows the band Shaman's Harvest. So
Okay.
I mean, so she voted that almost through to I think to her final four, but personal reasons, personal reasons. But
yeah,
that means
that's fine. But Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they're both just big. They're Vince's slabs of meat, and they got really nothing going for them as far as personality, and that includes their theme songs. Ultimate Warrior is all personality.
I mean, Sheamus, I can see that more, but Drew McIntyre, I actually love that Broken Dream song. I fucking love that song. I always did. Like, even when I watched him wrestle with it, like, I loved that theme song when he was coming out. Like, it's a good song. I think so. But anyway, the last matchup in round one is going to be number 32, Vader's Mastodon versus number 15, Ultimate Warrior's Unstable.
I'm glad that we're through, or okay, it's going to be Vader here. But then we're through the list. And I'm going to say I'm glad that Seth freaking Rollins's theme song wasn't on here at all, because there is nothing more annoying. Like, I've turned off pay-per-views because of the crowd going, oh, like throughout the whole match. I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm surprised that wasn't on here. I was ready to talk shit on it.
He wasn't on here because I mean this is kind of an older list, I think, and there's very few new stars on it. But
yeah, well, I'm gonna talk shit on Seth Rollins's crappy entrance and the fact that the crowd chants throughout his whole matches. I had that in my chamber, so I didn't want to let it go.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate any member of the Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, sort of the third guy I don't even know the name of, but yeah, I hate them all. But I mean, I hate the Shield. That's the reason I stopped watching wrestling a second time and I haven't got back into it since.
I actually like Roman,
but
again,
I
think he's a good heel. And he's with Paul Heyman, who I think is
I hate Paul Heyman since Brock Lesnar.
I think Paul Heyman might be the best manager that's ever been in the WWE. His body language, his facial expressions are hilarious. The shit he says is so ridiculous. And again, he makes people hate him, and there's nothing I enjoy more than that. Yeah. There's nothing I enjoy more than that.
See, people like you are like, why I'm a famous podcaster at this point almost. But I mean, people hate me. But that means you are finally ready to start round two, and we can fly through this next 30 matchups.
Let's fly.
But to start off, you got, ironically enough, number 64, The Godfather's The Ho Train by Jim Johnston versus another Jim Johnston song, 63, Undertaker's The Dead Man.
I think there's enough Undertaker on here that we can let the Ho Train go on.
Oh, we can always let the Ho Train go on. Come on now. But that means the Ho Train is facing either number 48, Mike Awesome's Awesome Bomb, or number 47, Chris Benoit's Whatever.
Um, damn, dude, I'm gonna have to put Benoit through again.
which means Chris Benoit will be facing Godfather in a match. I'm sure that happened at some point in the 2000s in the
Yeah.
next round. But that means the next matchup is number 60, Christian's Blood Brother by Jim Johnston versus number 45, Rob Van Dam's Walk by Pantera.
We'll go Christian here for not being Rob Van Dam reasons.
But he's one of a kind.
Yeah, he sure is.
Oh, yeah. But that means Christian is either going to face number 44, Jack Swagger's Get on Your Knees, versus number 70, Jeff Jarrett's The Chosen One.
JEFFJARRETT goes through here, baby.
No more getting on your knees, people. But
No
that
more getting
means
on your
the
knees.
other
Get off
side
your
of round
knees,
two gets
people.
against. I mean, you're my wife, but that means number two. The second part of round two, and this half gets to get started, and it's number 57, Mankind's Wreck by Jim Johnston versus number 42, Nation of Domination's Power by Jim Johnston.
Oh, dude.
I know. And you made this matchup, not me.
Yeah, not my favorite Mankind song. And Nation Domination, too good. That theme song, too good. So we're going Nation of Domination.
Was it really that good a theme song, though? In my opinion,
it was. Just again, once again, you have the thing where, I mean, this was a big stable back in the day, like a big strong. We got Farouk, we got Mark Henry, we got Godfather was in there, and then you hear "We Are the Nation," and it's like, all right, some shit's gonna go down. Good stuff, very good stuff.
I mean, I don't know.
And again,
I've seen
I'm
a
older
lot of.
than you, so
I know. But I've seen all the VHSs back in the day of like their heyday, and I think I mean the theme song alone. Not even talking about the freaking stable, because the stable was solid, but just the whole "We Are the Nation of Domination." Don't. Like it's a stupid theme song to me. It's not even like that entertaining. Like I want theme
it
songs that are
didn't.
gonna make me like. I want theme songs that are gonna make me like go like this, or fucking like
Yeah,
make me get up and start moving. Like
that wasn't the point of the stable, and it wasn't the point of the song. That was an
oh,
intimidation
I know.
song because it was an intimidation stable.
Yeah, well, they weren't that intimidated when DX came out and fucking impersonated all of them.
They whooped their asses after that. They
Well,
whooped
nothing
DX's
beat.
ass on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, it was funny enough watching DX impersonate them,
It
especially
was
freaking.
that was very funny.
I mean,
Although
it
I
beats the
don't
McMahon one.
really, yeah, I didn't really need to see those guys in blackface, but besides that, pretty funny.
Hey, the things that WWF got away with in the '90s, no one else can get away with. But
Surprising what they got
yeah,
away with.
oh, Vince McMahon paid people off. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. But that means Nation of Domination will face either number 41, Legion of Doom, What a Rush, or number 54, Owen Hart, King of Hearts.
That'll be Owen. Yeah, Owen.
Oh, so in the quarterfinals, Nation of Domination will be facing one of its own members.
That was
That's a first.
that Owen theme song was pre.
Yeah, well, still. Owen Hart was before my time. He died by the time I got into wrestling. But
I was watching the pay-per-view where he died.
I figured, but well, that means the next matchup is number 39, Kane's Slow Chemical, or number 52's D'Lo Brown, The Real Deal.
I think we're gonna go Kane here. I don't. Yeah, the Kane Undertaker Paul Bearer thing was like my favorite shit in the '90s.
Oh, it's what got me into wrestling, dude. Like that, watching VHSs of like their rivalry, like oh my god,
Yeah, it was
like
great.
when when Kane came out from underneath the ring, like solid
Mm,
goodness.
yeah, very very good
But
stuff.
well, we might have that matchup again if this next matchup goes a certain way. But that means it's number 51, Undertaker's Dark Side versus number 71, Lita's It Just Feels Right.
Yeah, sorry, Lita, but Undertaker's going through on this one.
Which means it will be brother versus brother in the next matchup, in the next round. But that means that the first half of round two is officially over. But that means it's time to start the higher ranked round two. And it's going to start off with number 14 versus number 13. It's Goldberg's Invasion / Who's Next versus Triple H China's My Time.
My time, Triple H China
Ooh,
here.
I love it.
Goldberg can.
I'll take Gilbert.
Goldberg can spear and then jackhammer himself.
I'm sure he does on a daily basis, but
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he doesn't have to, but he probably still does anyway.
I'm pretty sure he has to because who the hell cares about Goldberg anymore? But that means that Triple H is going to be facing either number 12, Ric Flair's also Splach Zarathustra versus number 26, Harlem Heat's Rap Sheet. One of these two.
Yeah. Sorry, Chansey, but Harlem Heat's going through.
Trust me, Chansey wouldn't mind that. Chansey's a Harlem Heat fan. He likes a lot of wrestling, and Harlem Heat was never really a fan favorite compared to Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair actually won the group one,
No.
but
Oh yeah, Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair. But there was something, and it was the time. It was the time, and Booker T is such an amazing wrestler that, like, my association
he is.
with the song is with them wrestling.
I mean, my association with the song is the Booker T version of "Can You Dig It, Sucker?" Like
Great.
that, and I mean that after the cameras go off, Raw clip of like all the different wrestlers trying to do the spin-a-rooney is still one of my favorite reels to watch to this day.
Yeah, very good.
Like when they get Undertaker and Kane to try it and everything, like oh my god.
I forgot about that. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's I mean, and I remember watching that night at Raw, and like that was after the camera went off, so no one knew about it. But that's why being I went to a lot of live shows because my dad ran a Hertz rent a car, and we every time WWE would be in town, the Daw brothers, who were the ring setup guys, would give us free tickets to the Raw, SmackDown, whatever it was. So
Oh, nice.
we got like 10 free tickets. My dad used to bring like a van full of my friends, and like we'd go and watch whoever was performing that night. I was there when Hulk Hogan came back in 2002.
Wow.
Like I was actually there with my cousin who was a wrestling fan in the 80s, and like not anymore, but he was a wrestling fan in the 80s. And like all of a sudden, like we're sitting there, all of a sudden you hear dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh, Gerald Briscoe again, and it's like, nope, that's Hulk Hogan. Like it's just like, oh, it was to be there that night was amazing. Like that, you want to hear an audience cheer
Oh, sorry.
after
I
Hulk
just
Hogan comes
hear
back
that
for like after like a
terrible theme
decade.
song.
Like, dude, the audience went crazy. Like it had been like a decade since Hulk Hogan was in WWF. Like it was insane. But I mean, not a decade, but
Yeah.
like at least 7-8 years. But which means the next matchup you to have, because it's going to be Harlem Heat versus Triple H in the next round. But the next matchup is number
It was a
10, Chris Jericho's Break the
long
Wall.
time.
What was that? Oh, you're freezing up. Mike, you there? You're frozen. Yep. I see movement. You there? Mike.
It
Oh, I heard something. All
yeah.
right. Sorry. You froze up for a
Okay.
minute
I
there.
don't know what just happened.
I don't know. You were saying something, and I was like, "What was
What's this
that?" And then,
matchup?
like, the next,
Yeah,
this
I don't know what
matchup
happened.
is this matchup is number 10, Chris Jericho, Break the Walls Down, versus number 9, HBK, Sexy Boy. Because who doesn't want to be a sexy boy?
This is probably going to be surprising, but it's Break the Walls Down.
Ooh,
There
another
was
favorite.
another thing in WCW I would turn WWF off to watch, and it was Jericho. He had some feuds with some people, and one of the best people I've ever seen on the microphone. And that theme song, I think, is perfect for him.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I was watching wrestling when the whole like video thing started every week of like something is coming, something is coming. And
Yeah, the Y2J thing.
then like all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's this blonde Canadian asshole. But and
One of
I
the
never
best.
I hated his fucking attitude in life. I really did.
Yeah,
He was such a
one of
I mean he was supposed to be, but he was a whiny little bitch.
yeah, one of the best on the microphone of all time. He had my favorite thing that ever happened in wrestling was he had a feud with Dean Malenko, who was the man of 1,000 holds,
Oh, I
and
know Dean Malenko.
He had a list, and he was calling himself the man of 1,008 holds, and he had it on a scroll, and he would just like come out to the ring, and he would just read off the moves that he knew, and it was so good. The man of
Oh, sure, Chris
1,008
Jericho
holds.
destroyed him. But
Oh,
oh,
Malenko?
trust me, yeah, I mean, I remember the Radicals.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very strange time. Yep.
Eddie
Eddie, Chris
Guerrero, Dean
Benoit, and
Malenko,
yep,
Perry Saturn.
Perry Saturn. And
Yep.
yeah, and
Who is the? Yeah, well, at least two of them are on this bracket,
yeah. Perry
but
Saturn was
Perry,
whatever.
he disappeared pretty fast, and so did
Yeah.
Dean Malenko. He disappeared pretty fast from WWE, but that means the final matchup in this quarter of round 2 to face Chris Jericho is either number 8 NWO's Rockhouse or number 34 Cactus Jack's Whole Lotta Groove.
I think Cactus Jack's going to make it through one more round here.
Well, we'll see how far he makes it, as we are now going to the last part of round 2, and that means it's number 22 Eddie Guerrero's Lie, Cheat, Steal versus number 6 The Rock's Know Your Role.
I'm going to go Eddie here. I'm going to go Eddie Guerrero
Oh,
here.
color me surprised because The Rock gets taken down.
He is.
Actually, no, I'm not that surprised. People have a hard soft spot for Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. I mean, it might
I never
be
was that big a
because
fan.
it might be because of how young he was when he died, but yeah, he never overstayed his welcome. Like he was great and then he was gone. So he didn't have time to like degrade and like turn into something that you didn't like anymore. So
Well, I mean,
he's on a top tier forever
I
because
I never liked him besides the whole like Mamacita thing with China. That's the only time I ever liked him was when he was working with China. Besides that, like it
no.
was just like, eh. I never liked him and Edge's feud over Lita and shit. Like I never liked that shit. But
It was not his best stuff, but impeccable in the ring. Like
oh, he was.
that's what I'm looking for more than anything. Like out of wrestlers, you know, I enjoy somebody who's good on the microphone, but if you're good on the microphone and can't wrestle, I don't care. And Eddie Guerrero was like one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen.
He was good, and he died way too young for a sad reason.
Yeah.
Unlike
Yeah.
his brother and Chris Benoit, but
Yes. Well, that was also
that means
sad, but
sad. But once the details, like I remember, like they aired the episode of Raw after it happened, and it was like a memorial to Chris Benoit, and then they kind of like they took that off any future network, like right after the news broke what happened.
Yeah.
And ICP did a song called Chris Benoit.
And it was also, I mean, it was sad that he did that and why he did it. And it goes to show you that that's a rough business to be in.
Oh, it is. It is.
Most of them just die in their 40s, but he was pushing himself too hard and putting too many different things to even out the other things that he was putting in his body, and it was all bad. Not to justify what he did,
but that means that Eddie Guerrero will face either number 20 Edge's You Think You Know Me or number 19 Hardy Boys Loaded. It's a classic TLC 2000 matchup here.
Yeah, that's Edge. Edge is not only, you know, beating the Hardy Boys, he's spearing them. He's spearing Jeff Hardy off the top of a ladder through a table, which may or may not be on fire. Like that's how big of a difference this one is.
Oh, oh my God! I still remember watching that for the first time in SummerSlam 2000 when they did the first TLC match. It was incredible, fucking incredible,
amazing.
Yep, that was the pinnacle of wrestling, tag team wrestling especially. But that means it's time for the final two matchups in round two, and it's gonna start off with a tough. Both these are. Well, actually, no, this one's the tougher one. It's number 3, Triple H's The Game versus number 2, Undertaker's Rest in Peace.
We're gonna go Undertaker. Undertaker, yeah, that's who I was. That's my guy. Undertaker was my guy.
Oh, same.
Undertaker's the reason I like wrestling. Yeah, big, strong guy, but also like could work and also didn't like and also would put over smaller talent. Like a lot of these big guys like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and stuff were just like, no, I'm not losing matches. Undertaker was always like, of course I'll lose a match to make somebody else look good. And I really respect that.
I still want to know what he said to Bray Wyatt at Undertaker's goodbye ceremony. But we'll never know now, so.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
But that means...
Well, maybe we will. Maybe Taker will say something.
No, he won't. He actually just released... They just released something he said about where, like, now that Bray Wyatt's gone, he'll never say what he said. Like, he said it's gonna die with him.
Okay.
I actually just read that today, but...
We'll never know.
Because, I mean, it's funny because, like, Stone Cold has a podcast and all these different wrestlers are on it, so you hear, like, all these backroom stories and stuff that you never knew. But that means that Undertaker's going to be facing, though, in the first round, speaking of the man himself, number 1, Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me, or number 32's Vader. Mastodon.
Yeah, Stone Cold. I mean, I would be surprised if this one wasn't in the final matchup.
Oh, me too. It usually is to some point. But that means that round 2 is officially over at almost 2 hours later. But this is never a short bracket ever, but it's not much left now, so it should go faster.
Yeah.
And the quarterfinals are going to start off in the lower ranking, or I guess actually technically high. Actually, yeah, lower ranking. I'm right. Lower ranking side starts off with number 64, The Godfather's Ho Train versus number 47, Chris Benoit's whatever.
I mean, Ho Train's going surprisingly far.
Ho Train's making it to the freaking semifinals, for God's sake. So, yeah. That's further than the Ho Train ever made in wrestling. But that means the Ho Train's going to be facing either number 60, Christian's Blood Brother, or 70, Jeff Jarrett's The Chosen One.
It doesn't matter. I already picked the winner of this one, so we're going to go with Jeff Jarrett. Just get it a little bit further than it normally goes.
Well, that's what she said, but and that means the other side of the quarterfinals in this half is going to start off with number 42, Nation of Domination's Power versus number 54, Owen Hart's King of Hearts.
Well, I mean, it's going to be Nation of Domination here.
Which actually, speaking of which, have you seen that reel where it's the fan that could talk like Owen Hart, and they actually got him to go to the announce booth next to King and JR, and like he's impersonating Owen Hart, and Owen Hart comes out all pissed off. It's a fun. If I see it again, I'll fucking say it to you. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I think I have seen that, but it's not
probably 20 years ago, probably. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like 25 years ago now, but
yeah.
And
I'm
that
an
means
old man.
that means
I don't remember stuff.
Well, same, but different reasons. But that means Nation of Domination is going to be facing either number 39, Kane's Slow Chemical, or number 51, Undertaker's Dark Side. Because, I mean, do you really want to face Undertaker's Dark Side? And yes, this is a brother matchup.
I think I might like Kane's music here better.
Well,
as far as the songs
Dark
go.
Side. It's Dark Side. It's not
yeah.
Rest in Peace.
Yeah. Yep.
So, well, that means that the first half of the quarterfinals is officially over. But the higher ranking quarterfinals get started now. And it's number 13, Triple H and China's My Time versus number 26, Harlem Heat's Rap Sheet.
I'm putting Harlem Heat through here.
Oh, which I mean, no.
Yeah.
My Time never makes it this far anyway, so I'm surprised it made as far as it did. But everybody's like, that's not that good Triple H theme. I'm like, you're mistaken, but okay, think what you want.
It's a very good Triple H theme.
Oh, it is. I love that fucking song.
But it's no Harlem Heat.
No, it's not. But that means Harlem Heat's gonna be facing in the semifinals either number 10, Chris Jericho Break the Walls Down, and number 34, Cactus Jack's Whole Lot of Groove.
Sorry, Mick. But Break the Walls Down is just too good.
Well, I'm pretty sure Nick is a fan of Fozzy, so he'll be fine with it.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fozzy by any means, but
yeah, they're fine.
Good way to put it. But
that is a good Break the Walls Down is great.
Oh, it is. But
come on, I'm losing steam. Let's go.
And that means the last part of the quarterfinals is number 22, Eddie Guerrero's Lie, Cheat, Steal versus number 20, Edge's You Think You Know Me.
Oof. This is a rough one.
It's a very mid-2000s. It's a mid-2000s matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Edge is going to go through here.
As it should.
I think it's a better song. Yeah.
And that means to face Edge, the final matchup in the quarterfinals, number 2, Undertaker's Rest in Peace, or number 1, Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me.
Yeah, it's got to be Stone Cold here.
Oh, I hate that decision.
I know. Really do, I know. I'm not a fan. I don't like it either. But
well, Well, that means that the quarterfinals are officially over, and it's time to go into the semifinals. And that means that the semifinals are going to get started off, if I can type, by all the way up back up to the lower ranked songs. Number 64, The Godfather's Hoe Train, versus number 70, Jeff Jarrett's The Chosen One.
Ho Train. Ho Train's coming
Ooh,
through.
and the Hoe Train makes it into the semifinals, I think, for the first time ever. I could be wrong. I don't
Such
feel
a
like
good
looking right
song.
now. It is, though. Bow, 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 bow. And that's actually why I thought all pimps dressed like in the 90s. So,
I think they
but,
did.
got, probably. I mean, I wouldn't know, but
I don't know either.
way, way too young at that age. But Godfather is going to be facing in the finals on this half either number 42, Nation of Domination's Power, or number 39, Kane's Slow Chemical. So the finals might be group versus member.
Yeah, I think it is because it's Nation of Domination here.
Oof. I think actually that's the first time Nation of Domination has made it to the Final Four. I think it usually
I'm a
gets eliminated
big
in the first
group.
round.
I'm a big
Oh,
group guy, and
I'm a stable guy too. Trust me. But
yeah, and there's something about a diverse like style of wrestling stable,
yeah,
and it's like all of the Nation guys except D'Lo had like a lot of power, but like they were all also athletic, and I just really like this faction, and I think that they um I think that they had the perfect theme song for them.
oh, they did. But that means in the higher ranking semifinals, you have the first matchup of number 26, Harlem Heat's Rap Sheet, against number 10, Chris Jericho's Break the Walls Down.
It's got to be Jericho here. That
And
theme
that
song
means
is just too good. Too good.
I disagree. But I mean, against Harlem Heat, yeah, I'm fine with that. But it's just neither of these two would ever make it with my bracket. Put it that way. But that means the last matchup in the semifinals by far is number 20, Edge's You Think You Know Me, versus number 1, Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me.
Yeah, it's Stone Cold. It's got to be Stone Cold.
Hey, there's a reason it's number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it should be number 1. I'm against that ranking, but whatever. Ain't my matchup. And that means that the semifinals are officially over at this point. And we got 2 final matchups to do, and then a third and fourth place matchup. Actually, a final matchup, and then third and fourth place matchup, and then the grand finale matchup. Actually, okay, I fucked that all up, but whatever. The first final matchup you have to face, and get ready for this, because it's stable versus member. Number 64, The Godfather's The Hoe Train. I'd do it one more time. Versus number 42, The Nation of Domination's Power.
Yep. And that's the last time you're going to have a chance to do it because it's Nation Domination going through.
See, you are very wrong about that, actually. But we'll get to that in a minute. And I don't know if I could do it again. My voice might not let me. But getting old sucks, and being a smoker for 15, 20 years sucks. But that means the other final match we have to do is number 10, Chris Jericho's Break the Walls Down versus number 1, Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me.
Stone Cold. Sorry, it's Stone Cold. I hate to be a basic bitch, but it's Stone Cold.
Hey, ain't nothing basic about Stone Cold Steve Austin. So he's a complex man who only is understood by his beer and by his chair. But and that means you get to do your third and fourth place matchup now, since you have your final 2 matchups. And it's either number 64, The Godfather's Hoe Train, I can't do it again, versus number 10, Chris Jericho's Break the Walls Down.
No, it's Ho Train 4, Break the Walls Down 3.
There we go. And now for the grand finale matchup. It's number 42, Nation Domination's Power by Jim Johnston versus number 1, Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me by Jim Johnston. And funny enough, I think this is the first time that all 4 of the final 4 are Jim Johnston songs.
He writes good songs. What can I tell you?
Oh, he does.
It's going to be Nation of Domination 2 and then Stone Cold 1.
Oh. So for the first time ever, the first ranked song on this bracket wins first place. Actually, I'm pretty sure that none of these final four that Michael just pulled have ever been in the final 4. And just so people realize this, the final 4 it has are the Godfathers, the Ho Train, all right, I won't worry me, in 4th place, versus Chris Jericho's Break the Wall Down in 3rd place, and with Nation of Domination's Power in 2nd place, and Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me, what, in 1st place. And it's been a blast doing this for 2 hours, Mike. It really has. I mean, this wrestling is never a short bracket.
Yes.
Ever. With groups, we've gone 3-4 hours with these, honestly. So nothing surprising.
Yeah, I would have died.
Yeah, we almost did, and it was the longest piss break ever. But
yeah.
Where can they find you, Michael, and where can they find your podcast?
If they want to hear a silly scripted comedy podcast that takes place in an alternate dimension, Reading, Ohio, they can find me at Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex on the Podmoth Network. If they want to hear me talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with a lovely, talented voice actor and cosplayer, they can listen to me on This Bizarre Adventure. And if they want to hear me in a stable of 4 people, we talk about television shows where we watch the first episode and the last episode, and then we make up what happens in the middle. You can listen to No Time to Binge, and that's where you can find me.
I still got to guess in that show, just saying. But catch him in all those great shows, folks, and you'll see him again on here and on my other show, of course, because me and Mike work together from time to time in these things, and he's always fun to have on brackets and whatnot. But you can, of course, find me, your host, and my beloved co-host, Chancey, who cannot be here tonight, Sir Chancey Pants himself. But you can find both of us on Facebook as Untamed, Unapologetic, and Uncensored Podcast Collective Facebook group. You could find us on XX Baby and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard. You can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, or streaming live on All Blind Knowledge Network, because all knowledge was blind until Stone Cold cracked a beer in front of your face. And I will catch you all tomorrow, because guess what, buddy? Everybody, if you're not going to see some replay until after, me and Chance are going to be back tomorrow with another regular episode we haven't done in a few weeks. So we're happy to be back with Annette from Music Junkies Podcast as our guest. So come check us out, and let's have a good show tomorrow. And Michael, thank you as always for coming on, buddy. It's been a pleasure. And I know we're both exhausted at this point after 2 hours of this. So we will bid everybody good night and farewell. And remember,
yes, always fun. Yes.
Remember, that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.